Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Urcha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Them Hooks, baby. Them Hooks. And pretty much this lesson is inspired through an article that I found last night. I sent to a couple of brothers, and just wanted to kind of touch on it. You know, with this situation with Russia and the Ukraine, because what's happening right now is pretty much, you know, Russia is gathering back, you know, those former USSR states that were all part of Russia. You know, the former Soviet Union, the United Socialist, the United Soviet Socialist Republic. And that's pretty much what he's doing. But he's not doing that out of his own, you know, because he wants to just do that. It's, you know, something that the Lord put into his spirit to do. Matter of fact, before we get started, let's go real quick to the book of Proverbs 16 and 1. It says, the preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. And pretty much all of their actions are moved in that fashion, because the Most High is the one that controls everything. He controls the heart of men. He controls what they do, how they function, how they operate, you know, and that's just the bottom line. Just spare me 1 second. I'm trying to find this scripture. Damn. Just bear with me. Yeah, it's not coming up. Pretty much is along the lines of the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth whithersoever he wants, or something like that. Let me see something. All right, 21 and 1. I believe that's the one. Yep, the water. That's it. Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. And this is pretty much why we see things moving in the direction that they're moving with Russia. Now, you know, behind the scenes, they're all these major players are pretty much all working together. But that's also of the Lord also. You know, but eventually the Lord he's going to cause things to happen to where, you know, it's going to be out of the council or out of the hands of the bankers and all these different major players, and it's going to turn ugly, so to speak. Because when we do go to Ezekiel, right, let's see if I could find that verse. Let me see if I can find it like this. Right here, Ezekiel 38:10. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Why? Because the Lord is going to turn them back around, which is pretty much the nature of this lesson called them hooks, baby, them hooks. Now, before we read that, let's go to a couple of these articles, which I actually put these in the description box. It says Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union. We must not allow that to happen. This is dated February 24th, 2022, the year of turnip, which was actually last night or yesterday. And like I said, I found it. I saw the title. I sent it to a couple of brothers, and Spirit was on me to bring it out. Then I wasn't going to do it. I was going to do another lesson. But when I started thinking about doing the other lesson, the Spirit was kind of like leaving. I was like, oh no. So the Lord wants me to bring out these points here. It says it is not Vladimir Putin who has changed. It's American leadership that's changed. And somebody brought out the fact that going back to 2014, I believe it was America, NATO, and them. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but it was influenced by America, of course, Babylon the Great. And February 22nd, which is the day that Putin started to invade, Ukraine, going back to February 22nd, 2014 is when they caused the former leader of Ukraine pretty much to roll out. And that's when they installed a puppet leader in Ukraine, and that's why they said that Vladimir Putin chose February 22nd of this year to invade, which would be what, 12 years? No, not 12 years. 8 years. 2014. Yeah, 8 years later. To actually pretty much get up in, or to pretty much bring back the Ukraine to Russia, which is the former Soviet Union. That's what they're trying to do. Now it goes on. We're going to read a little bit of this. It says, days ago, Vladimir Putin did what we all have known he was going to do for months. He invaded Ukraine. The invasion was by no means inevitable. We in the Trump administration knew, and keep in mind, this is a Fox News, so they're going to put their own bullshit spin on it. Established Russian dominance. We in the Trump administration knew that it was Putin's aim to establish. Why do they say Trump administration? This is February 24th, 2022. Why are they saying Trump administration when Biden is in there? I don't understand that. Unless this is just supporters of Trump. Knew that it was Putin's aim to establish Russian dominance and influence over all the old Soviet bloc countries, including in Ukraine. We were able to keep an invasion like this one from occurring by establishing a model of deterrence, not just with respect to Russia, but with anyone who threatened to harm or undermine our interests. Let's see. It says we kept the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from being completed. We withheld talks on the New START treaty, and we worked with our partners in NATO to increase defense spending and present a greater potential response to any act of Russian aggression. Now, I'm going to read another article, but I just want to say this because I read this somewhere or saw a video or something said that pretty much, no, actually it was an article. I was kind of just saw the headlines, and they said that pretty much they're going to start, I guess, for lack of a better word, censoring what people say in the narratives about Ukraine. So now once you start speaking about those areas and, the situations going on, they're going to start, just like they did with the jab, they're going to start clipping people's videos for pretty much bringing out the truth about that whole situation. Anyways, let's move on. There's more here. You could read through this, I just wanted to get that point. This is another article I actually found this morning from the Los Angeles Times. It says, why is Russia's Vladimir Putin so obsessed with invading Ukraine? Right? It says, this is dated same date. Well, actually, the day when he actually invaded. Because, look, it's February 24th, 2022 at 12:27 p.m., almost February 25th. This is Washington. Why is Russian President Vladimir Putin so obsessed with Ukraine? That's the question on many minds as Russia's invasion of the former Soviet Republic continues. The answer involves a mix of history, geography, and Putin's desire to return his country to the glory days of Soviet Union superpower. That's when it was the USSR and all of those different countries, that are now different countries or separate countries were all united under Russia, like Ukraine, like Georgia. It used to be called Georgia, Russia. Now I believe it's just called Georgia. It says Putin mourns the Soviet Union. Yeah, because that was all part of, the power that they had in those regions, because a lot of those regions are very strategic, for trade and for whatever, for defense. Right, it says a former KGB operative, Putin has said the collapse of the Soviet Union was one of the greatest disasters of modern history. He says he does not regard the former Soviet Republic of Ukraine as a real country, nor Ukrainians as separate people, because they're all the same people. It says in what historians took, I'm about to say hook, in what historians took as an extreme attack on history, Putin said in a rambling speech Monday, modern Ukraine was entirely and fully created by Russia. The Ukrainian people voted overwhelmingly in 1991 in a democratic referendum to leave the Soviet Union and become independent. Much of the West, probably unwittingly, bought into part of the narrative by referring to Ukraine as the Ukraine, the way Putin and Russian nationalists do. It's similar to how Americans refer to the South or the Midwest, parts of the U.S., not separate countries. No Russian empire without Ukraine. There's a Russian adage that you can't have a Russian empire without Ukraine, owing to its long cultural and economic history as the beating heart of the defunct Soviet Union. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build this back up. But this is all playing out in prophecy. And Putin is hell-bent on recreating. And why is Putin hell-bent on recreating a new empire to restore his declining country to superpower status? Because the Lord put that spirit in him, as we read in the book of Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So it says, to understand how Putin views Ukraine and why it's so entangled in his national mythology, first look at a map. Former Soviet republics, Belarus, Ukraine, and Georgia, see, in that order, north to south, are former Soviet Union republics that broke away into ostensibly independent nations after the communist power collapsed in 1991. They sit like a massive land barrier between Russia and Europe to the west. Right, and you had something called the, what was that called? That wall. Damn, it was a wall, there was like a group of countries that all bordered Russia, which were all part of Russia. That was like a big wall. I forget what it's called. It's something to do with the wall. Not the Berlin Wall. It's a wall that went across and pretty much separated Europe from Russia, in so many words, so it was like a barrier. But I forgot what it's called. No, not the Berlin Wall. No, the Berlin Wall was something different. But it's I forget what it's called. The Iron Curtain. There you go. The brothers on it. The Iron Curtain. That's what it's called. The Iron Curtain. Matter of fact, let's type in that. And I only got a couple of precepts, Here we go. It says, the Iron Curtain was a political boundary dividing Europe into two separate areas from the end of World War II in 1945 until the end of the Cold War in 1991. The term symbolizes the efforts by the Soviet Union, USSR, to block itself and its satellite states from open contact with the West and its allied states. And that's what he wants back. Because as you see here, let me see if this map is big enough. As you see here, this is that wall. you know, and it blocked, you know, I believe this is the wall right here, you know, and it was able to block, you know, just anybody just from rolling up on Russia. Let me see if they have another one. You know, and I'm not an expert at this, so, you know. Oh, no, well, you know, yeah, well, if you're the expert, do a goddamn video on it then. Always waiting for somebody to make a video on something, then you're going to jump up and be the guy to correct everything. Get the fuck out of here, man. You dudes, man, are fucking clowns. Unbelievable. So pretty much, you know, let me see if I just put a map. Put map. Here we go. And I guess that's it right here. That green map. You know, you could look into it more. You know, I just knew it was a barrier, you know, with the Soviet Union from, you know, connecting, I guess, for lack of better words, with the West, you know, and the rest of Europe. All right. So let's go back. It says, but Ukraine is by far the largest, a minerals-rich, vast land of fertile fields. Tiny Georgia was invaded by Russia in 2008, and the two fought a brief war. Then, as now, Moscow accused Georgia of attacking pro-Russia breakaway enclaves like South Ossetia. France negotiated a ceasefire that ended most fighting, but Georgia did not regain the disputed territory. All right. You could keep on, you know, reading through here. Like I said, I put both of these in the description box. Now I want to do is just get into this scripture here. And then I got another precept and possibly one more. And then, you know, just close it out in Lord's will. You know, if the Lord gives me another lesson to go through, or if the Lord wants me to go longer, you know, hey, that's how it's going to go down. The brother Gabar Yahweh said, NATO is trying to penetrate that by incorporating countries into NATO. Yeah, well, that's exactly what they're doing, so that they can pretty much surround. It's a strategy, you know, surround the enemy, you know, from all angles, from all sides, but act like it's all done for a benevolent thing, which is not. Just bear with me 1 second. This is the book of Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against it. And this Gog and the land of Magog is what is known today as Russia. When you look at a map, it says the world is known to the Hebrews according to the Mosaic account. All of these that you see in red here, pretty much these are the sons of Japhet. And pretty much this is what the lands that, or should I say, today, you know, they're called by different names, of course. But these are the lands that are Japhet, the brown-skinned Japhites, not no white people, because white people are not Japhet. The brown-skinned Japhites, they what's the word I'm looking for? They dwelt in these different lands here. These were the lands that were given to them, you know, by the Lord, pretty much. But today, a lot of these lands are pretty much occupied by Edomites, you know, and you have some of the ethnic people that actually lived in these lands in there. But for the most part, a lot of them are under Edomite influence. So when we look up at the word Gog and Magog, you see here Magog. This is the Caucasus Mountain. This is around the region of Georgia, Russia. What used to be Georgia, Russia, should I say. You know, then you have here Rush, you know, which I believe they say that's another word for Russia. You know, and this is the area, you know, and of course above that, because they moved above that, but this is the area known as Gog, or should I say Magog. All right. Then we go back. It says the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And then when you look at Meshech and Tubal right here, you have Meshech, Gog, and Magog. This is around the same area, you know, but all of these like Georgia, which used to be Georgia, Russia, Armenia, and Turkey all kind of border each other. So this is a lot of those lands that we read in the book of Ezekiel 38. They're located around this area here. It says, and prophesy against him, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. And this is immediately what I thought about when I read this article, the headline, Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union. We must not allow that to happen. Then this morning, before I got started, I ran across or found this one. Why is Russia's Vladimir Putin so obsessed with invading Ukraine? And when I went down here and I saw this, that's the question on many minds as Russia's invasion of the former Soviet Republic continues. The answer involves a mix of history, geography, and Putin's desire to return his country to the glory days of Soviet Union superpower. That's right. And America don't want that. NATO don't want that. That's why underhandedly they did what they did. And that's what they do. They put puppet leaders, they put propaganda out there to these people that you want to be free. You don't want to be under that rule. But meanwhile, here in the West, people are being oppressed, the same way that they were doing back in the days. But anyway, like I said, that's a whole nother topic. So when we look up this word, will turn thee back, the word there is shawab. Now the word shawab means to return. So when the Lord said, I will turn thee back, meaning I'm going to return you back to a status that you had. So this is prophecy. This is not something that they can step into and decide what's going to be done, either yay or nay. No, this is prophecy. This is what's going to actually happen. And this is why the Lord got the spirit on Putin and others to do what they're doing. Whether it's something that they're doing jointly to paint a narrative for the world, to justify, more of the collapse of this financial system, to bring in the MOTB, which is the charagma, or whether it's the Lord bringing to pass what he said was going to come to pass. But either way, it is the Lord, because man's goings are of the ways of the Lord. So the word shawab means to return. I will turn thee back, and says, and put hooks into thy jaws. Now, when we look up this word hooks, is the word chaka or chach, right? It says hook, ring, fetter, brooch, hook, ring, in nose of captive, right? Because pretty much, Russia and the world in general, they're servants to the Lord anyway, because they're doing what the Lord wants them to do. Hook, ring as jewelry. Let's see, there was something else that I was reading earlier. Let's see if I can find that. Right here, a ring put through the perforated nostrils of animals which are to be tamed, and to which a cord was attached. So in other words, when these animals that were wild and being tamed, once you tamed them, what did you do? You moved them in the direction that you wanted them to go. And this is what the Lord is doing. He's putting the hooks into, Gog or Russia to turn them in the direction that he wants them to go. That's why you see, this situation with them trying to grab back those former Soviet nations that belonged to Russia in the first place. You see? So let's go back. Let's read that again. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, because these situations like this are going to cause those skirmishes, those wars and rumors of wars. And that's what we're witnessing right now. It's just the beginning stages, but the cover story is, the invasion of Russia against Ukraine. But the deeper, besides the prophecy, the deeper meaning of it is that they're using this to weaken the markets, weaken the dollars, weaken the monetary system of the world, to implode it and then bring in a new system. It says, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So now, let's go from there to the book of it's either Jeremiah 51 or 52. So just bear with me 1 second. All right, let's try 50. Jeremiah 50. Right here. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, America, Babylon the Great, an assembly of great nations from the north country. And that's what's happening right now. So what we're witnessing is the beginning stages of these different nations of Russia that were once all united and broken up later, all coming back together. But it's going to take work, you know, and Ukraine, as I said, Ukraine being the biggest, you know, let's see if I could just pull up a map. Just bear with me 1 second. Pull up a map. Come on, man. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, this looks like a pretty big one. All right, so we got, boom, right here. As you can see, you have Ukraine here. Now, Ukraine is very big, you know, and this is part of what was blocking the invasion from the West and and Europe into Russia. And that's why they want to get this first, because all of these here, you know, some of them, I'm not sure exactly which ones, because like I said, I'm not an expert, you know, in the former Soviet, you know, the USSR, but I know Ukraine definitely was one. We read in one of these articles where they actually gave you a couple others. Let's see, where were we at? Right here. Georgia was another one. Trying to see if I could find that. I believe it was up here somewhere. For Belarus, Ukraine, and Georgia. Here they go. So these were three of them, which there were more. Let's see. Okay. So you have Ukraine, Belarus. And I was looking for the other one, but I don't see it. It's in here somewhere. Let me bring this over here. That would make it a little easier. And Georgia, which Georgia is down here. So you see Russia here, Georgia here was a part of them. So they were bordered around pretty much, you know. There was a nice border around where people just couldn't roll up in there without getting through, you know, these defenses first. So it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. See, so America is going to be taken, because not only are these nations, you know, that were of the former Soviet Union, you know, going to come against them. Moldova. Yep, Moldova is another one. That's right. But Russia, but also her own allies, you know. And then you got to remember, you got China, you have, you know, Taiwan, you know, you have different, you know, Korea, you know, you have different nations that actually have missiles, you know, India, Pakistan, that actually have missiles that are going to shoot against America. Then you have America's allies, these European nations that have missiles also. They're also going to shoot missiles at her. Why? Let's go real quick. We'll read that again, but let's go real quick to Revelation 17. And right here, Revelation 17 and 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. See? So the beast is a representation of NATO and the EU, right? And then you have the whore. They said they're going to hate her. Who is the whore? America. Because America is that great city that ruleth over all the, pretty much all the kingdoms of the earth. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Why? Because they're also going to shoot their missiles at this place. It says, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, see, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And that's the bottom line, because the Most High's words don't go out void. So pretty much that's what's going to go down. So the missiles of these different countries of the world are going to be shot over to this side of the world. You know, some of them are going to hit certain other places wherever the Lord, deems them to hit. We definitely know that Babylon the Great is be totally annihilated. We definitely know that the land of Israel will be totally annihilated. You know, seeing that some of these nations are going to be shooting their missiles, it would make sense that some missiles will be shot at them and some parts of their countries might get hit, or will get hit, but we know definitely America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel. All right, here we go. We got some brothers putting out, let's see. Brother put Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, Uzbekistan. Yeah. So they lost a lot of, of these different land regions. But guess what? They're going to be coming back together according to prophecy. The brother put Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan were also a part of the former USSR. Armenia, Turkey, Iran, and Belarus are all in bed with Russia. Yeah, because Turkey and Iran are in the prophecy. That they're going to be guarded by Russia. Let's see. The elder put Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, Belarus, or Belarusia, Uzbekistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Yeah. So these are all parts of, the former USSR, which these are where? In the north. So these are those different countries from the north, as we're reading here in Jeremiah 50 and 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Yeah, and the reason why there are a number of great nations is because at one point they were all part of Russia, but then they broke away. But as the Lord said, he would turn hooks into their jaws. So that's what's happening. They're going back to those Soviet ways. Let's see, the Elder Monaghan put a scripture, Jeremiah 50 and 25. The Lord hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation there. For this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because this is the Lord's doing. The Lord said he's going to open up his armory. These are the Most High's missiles. This is the Most High's army. When we read in the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, that's his army. He's the one that's going to make it happen. He's the one that's putting it in the minds of these different people, having the angels working on their minds everywhere on the planet to make this thing happen, because the Most High's words do not go out void. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. London definitely will get touched. Let's see. Yep, this is a good precept too. It says Jeremiah 51:11, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. See, for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Yeah, because remember, the Lord has a beef He has a controversy with these different nations. That's why he said, my determination is to gather the nations that I may pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. And that's why these nations are being amassed over there. Whether it's a rumor, whether it's a skirmish, whether it's a small scale battle, whether it's a disagreement, whatever it is, it's all happening because the Lord got these nations there. And they have to have a reason to be there. And that's why the Lord's causing these little things to happen here and there. A rumor here, a rumor there. This one got a beef with this one. This one owes this one something. I want my money back. I want this back. This one took a part of my land. This one killed some of my people. So on and so forth. The Lord is causing all that to happen, stirring all of that up to get ready for this final battle of Armageddon. Armageddon, the Valley of the Troops. That's why it's also called Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, the Most High's judgment. Because that's the ultimate judgment. It's war. It's missiles. It's the chariots coming. It's the total annihilation of Esau's kingdom. And the total decimation of all the kings of the earth to make way for the real king, Yahweh Shai, which is the Heavenly Father, Yahweh's Son, to sit on his throne, to get the earth back into where it's supposed to be, back in its proper order. New heavens wherein dwelleth righteousness. That's what it's all boiling down to. That's why one of Yahweh Shai's title is what? King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Because he's coming back to take these nations down. He's going to be the one given the credit. He's the one that's taking over the new world, the new kingdom. And Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that we are heirs with him. And that he, in his mercy, which, we know was from the Heavenly Father, came down and sacrificed himself 2,000 years ago for us so that we can be partakers with him in this kingdom. That's why he said, no greater love has man than that he laid down his life for his friend. And that's not a light thing. You got a lot of individuals out there taking this as a light thing. It's not a light thing. What this man did was a very great thing. Otherwise, we'd be finished. All right. So let's read this again. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Who shall be taken? America. And there's going to be an array of great nations that's come against America. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. Why? Because all of these nations have these missiles. And it's not a coincidence that all of these nations have tested their missiles. They go around parading certain times of the year. They parade their missiles. It's not a coincidence that right now, when we're at the end of February, coming into March, the most propitious month for war, because March is named after the God of war, that you have these things breaking out. See? It says, none shall return in vain, because every arrow that's going to be shot, which are those missiles, are going to hit the target, because the Most High his spirit is going to be in those missiles to guide them where they need to be. Well, somebody's asking about the Passover. Well, look, you can go on this same channel right here, GMS Info Doc channel, 12, and type in there, or like the brother said, type in Passover, GMS Passover on your search engine. If you go to my page, I just put the video up. If you go to the page and you happen to look, instead of just look, you go to the page, just click on the page, GMS Info Doc channel 12. There's a video right there that gives you the moon. I mean the new moon and the Passover. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. And it's all right, bro. Sometimes you just gotta type it in. But I understand, brothers want to make sure they keep the Passover correct. There's nothing wrong with that. And, please, don't get upset with us. Sometimes we get a little passionate, a little overzealous sometimes, because, with a little footwork, brothers can get things that, but no problem, brother. Now you good, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, my brother. All right. So let's, cause sometimes, we get in that grandpa spirit, like, one brother, I ain't gonna mention no names, we call him grandpa because he's always cursing everybody out. But that's all good. That's all part of, part of the it's all part of the truth, rebuke, reproofs, admonitions, sometimes you come hard, sometimes you come easy. Like sometimes, when you were growing up, your father would beat your ass, and then sometimes he would talk to you, Sometimes he would talk to you, say, listen, son, it's on so and such and such, that he's trying to school you on certain things. Or sometimes he just bring the belt because talking don't help sometimes. So sometimes it could be harsh, or sometimes it could be, easier, But hey, it is what it is. All right, so like I said, brother, don't take it personal, don't take it the wrong way. But yeah, you know what? Since he mentioned it, I'll just bring it up. Right here. It's new moon is March. I'm sorry, that's the new moon, which is March 2nd, which is coming up. And then you have the Passover, which is March 16th, 2022 at evening. So the 16th at evening to March 23rd at evening. And that whole week, you can't eat no leaven, So just make sure you don't eat no leaven. We eat, you keep it the Passover the evening of the 16th. You have your lamb, your bitter herbs, your unleavened bread, and your wine. And that's it. That's all you really need. All right. So pretty much, I'm just going to recap, with these two. Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union. We must not allow that to happen. And this other one here, it says, why is Russia's Vladimir Putin so obsessed with invading Ukraine? And as they put down here, it says the answer involves a mix of history, geography, and Putin's desire to return his country to the glory days of the Soviet Union. Why? Because as Ezekiel 38:4 says, and I will bring thee back and put hooks into thy jaw. So they're being brought back to the former ways that they used to be. Because when you had the USSR, the United Soviet Socialist Republic, they were actually a superpower. They're still a superpower, but they're not as strong as they used to be because they lost a lot of their areas, a lot of those areas. But now what's happening is the Lord got the spirit on them to start to gather those back. You see? It says, and I will bring thee forth and all thine armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Right. And there's going to be a group of other nations outside of the Russian or that former Soviet Union that's going to be involved in this war that Russia is going to be watching over. All right. So with that, I pray that you brothers and you few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.